Chapter 31 Wolf Warrior Feng Xiaotian. You are listening at novelfull.audio. A fight broke out. Mu-Yang paused, surprised. You mean a real fight, or a soul battle? There's a difference. Soul battles are just mental sparring, while a regular brawl feels kind of low class. Wuhu rolled her eyes. What do you think? These are supposed to be top students from the different elemental academies. A real fight would be a total disgrace. It's a soul battle. Students from other academies throwing punches at Blazing Academy. That would be mortifying. Whatever beef they have gets settled in the training grounds or spirit fighting arenas, framed as a competition. That way, even if things get rough, they can just say they got carried away in the heat of the moment. Saves face, you know. Let's go check it out. Before Mu-Yang could ask anything else, Wuhu dragged him toward the central training ground. Soon, they arrived. Gale Demon Wolf's 18 strikes. The shout blasted into Mu-Yang's ears as soon as they entered. He looked around the circular arena, easily 100 meters across. In the center, a silver-haired kid in green, with glowing cyan wings sprouting from his back, was spinning like a top with a blade. His arms and wings blurred into a cyan buzzsaw aimed at the head of a bulky guy who was using a defensive soul skill. Clang, 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 the sounds of impact echoed rapidly. The silver-haired youth's relentless attacks made the bulky guy's soul shield tremble violently. Boom! After just 10 strikes, the shield shattered. Seizing the moment, the silver-haired kid righted himself in the air and launched a powerful kick. Bang! The bulky guy caught the kick square in the face. A spray of red mist erupted as nosebleeds gushed, sending him tumbling backward across the training ground floor, a human bowling ball. Is that all the Elephant Academy's got? Who's next? Having easily defeated another opponent of similar soul power, the silver-haired kid landed, hands clasped behind his back, his wolfish eyes scanning the crowd, oozing arrogance. 18 strikes of the Gale Demon Wolf. Seriously? This guy's a major simp for Warrior Wolf Feng Xiaotian. Looking at the ridiculously self-assured, masked silver-haired kid in the middle of the arena, Mu-Yang couldn't help but think, he called him a wolf warrior and not a simp because Mu-Yang knew that Feng Xiaotian ended up chasing after his cousin Wuhu. Simps get nothing. If you can't win the girl, you're just pathetic, but if you actually manage to get the girl, then you're not a simp, you're a wolf who's turned the tables. Of course, that's all in the future. Right now, Feng Xiaotian has no idea who Wuhu even is. The sight of the 3 yellow, and purple soul rings on Feng Xiaotian's body made Mu-Yang groan inwardly. Feng Xiaotian was 24 when he participated in the Soul Master competition in the original story. That means the competition is still almost 6 years away, making Feng Xiaotian about 18 years old right now, 18, with full innate soul power, yet his soul power level isn't even at level 40. What's he been doing? How does Feng Xiaotian even train? Even if he's messing around with his signature Gale Demon Wolf's whatever strikes, shouldn't he be leveling up his soul power at the same time? As one of the rare individuals with full innate soul power in the whole Soul Master world, Mu-Yang thought that if he didn't reach the 4th ring soul sect before he turned 16, it would be a waste. Didn't that prodigal Dai Mubai hit level 37 at 15? And Dai Mubai didn't even have the natural talent of full soul power or even the 9th level of innate soul power. Otherwise, the Star Luo Throne competition would have ended as soon as Dai Mubai awakened his 9th level innate soul power. If Shui Bing'er, Wuhu, and the others got a normal supporting role script, Feng Xiaotian, who was clearly gifted, got the mentally challenged one. He was wasting his prime training years on creating some soul skill, instead of working on his soul power. Confusing move. It's not even as good as a blacksmith's random hammer swing. And the worst part is that Feng Xiaotian sacrificed so much to create his soul skills, and while it's good, it's not great. It's not even better than a random cloak hammering technique of blacksmithing. Sis, is he always this arrogant? Does nobody call him out on it? Mu-Yang asked Wuhu, pointing at Feng Xiaotian, who was striking poses, acting like he owned the place. This dude needs to be taken down a peg, Wuhu pouted. Before I went to get you, some senior in our academy with level 39 soul power thought the same thing, but he was on his knees within a minute. Feng Xiaotian's soul power isn't that high, but he's strong. His third soul skill lets him fly, and combined with his signature soul skills, he's tough to beat. Not many three-ring soul masters can take him, and because Feng Xiaotian's soul power isn't at the fourth ring, the older, fourth-ring soul masters from the other academies won't step in. It's just a spirit battle. If you use your higher level to beat someone, even if you win, you look bad, and if you lose, it's not just your face, but the whole academy's face. Yang caught a glimpse of two blue-haired figures approaching, Shui Bing'er and Shui Yue'er. Bing'er, Yue'er, good morning. Yang greeted the two sisters. Little Yang, hey. You look even worse than yesterday. Shui Bing'er was about to say hello when she noticed Yang's complexion and asked with concern. Nah, I'm always like this. Yang shook his head. Actually, it was true. Yesterday, they met at noon, several hours after he finished his morning exercises, so his soul power had recovered somewhat. Now, it's only been about an hour, so he naturally looks a little worse, though it's not super noticeable. If there's a time when Yang is at his best, it's before he uses his innate ability to work out the exercises in the evening. Chapter 32. I spoke too loudly before. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Bing'er, Yue'er, are there any other students coming from Tianshui College? Yang scanned the training ground, but he didn't see any other students from Tianshui Academy, so he asked. No, the Soul Master competition is almost a year away, right? The Tianshui team already left for training long before we headed to Blazing Fire Academy. Shui Bing'er shook her head. Sending teams out for training isn't unique to Tiando Royal Academy. Most top-tier Soul Master academies do it. First, it lets them find different opponents and get real-world experience. Second, they can make money by competing in spirit fights in big cities, which eases the financial strain on the academy. If the team is good enough, they can definitely make some extra cash betting on themselves. A little here, a little there, and before you know it, they're making the college rich. Plus, students have to eat. Unless they're rolling in dough, who wouldn't want to make some pocket money while gaining experience? And with the backing of an advanced Soul Master Academy, as long as they play by the rules, the Great Soul Fighting Arena wouldn't dare to cheat them or force them into fixed matches. If they did, even if the academy wasn't that powerful, the Tiando Empire officials would step in. This year's Tianshui team is already out training. The only other student at the academy is Xiaotian, who's talented but still young. So they didn't bother bringing him. Since all 5 major element academies are meeting, students are supposed to learn from each other. If he's not ready, then he's not ready. Just then, another commotion broke out on the training ground. Feng Xiaotian, who'd been winning match after match, was back at it, taunting. So many people here, and not a single third-ring Soul Master dares to fight me. Guess I'm untouchable until you get to the 4th ring. He paused, then added, looks like Divine Wind Academy is the leader of the pack. Where are the guys from Blazing Academy? You're the hosts, where's the hospitality? Of course, if you're too chicken to fight, just say so. No hard feelings. Feng Xiaotian was the very picture of arrogance. Hey, white hair, what's your problem? I've seen arrogant people, but you take the cake, so you're a 3-ringed soul lord. Big deal. When I hit 3 rings, I'll wipe the floor with you. Wuhu, seeing Feng Xiaotian's tirade and his jab at Blazing Academy, couldn't hold back. She planted her hands on her hips and went on the attack. Whether she could beat Feng Xiaotian after leveling up didn't matter, she wasn't backing down. Is that so? I'll be waiting. He was about to fire back some more, but when Feng Xiaotian's eyes landed on Wuhu, standing next to Yang, he froze. She was slim, fair-skinned, with delicate features, a pair of big eyes that shimmered with a hint of silver, a red dress with gold patterns, and short, fiery red hair that set his heart ablaze. Sure, she looked a little aggressive, but in Feng Xiaotian's eyes, that only added to her charm. He figured she was a girl who knew what she wanted. Feng Xiaotian, heart attack. Humph. Seeing the weird white-haired guy staring at her with a creepy look, Wuhu frowned and scoffed. Her already low opinion of Feng Xiaotian just plummeted to sub-zero. Snapping out of it, Feng Xiaotian looked embarrassed. He left the field and walked towards Yang. Hey there, beautiful lady, my name is Feng Xiaotian, from Xuefeng Academy. I didn't catch your name. Sorry about the loud talk before, please don't take it personally. Feng Xiaotian tried to play it cool and bowed to Wuhu. Yang couldn't help but grin, seriously. He trashes Blazing Fire Academy, pisses off his cousin Wuhu, and then tries to hit on her. If he pulls this off, I'll walk on my hands. Xiaoyang, we'll settle this later. You train hard, and teach him a lesson for your sister. Wuhu ignored Feng Xiaotian's clumsy attempt at flirting, turned to Yang, and patted him on the shoulder. Feng Xiaotian was arrogant, but Wuhu had to admit that his self-created soul skills and his flying advantage made him a force to be reckoned with in the third ring stage, but that was it. Feng Xiaotian looked several years older than her, and his soul power hadn't even reached the 4th level. That showed he wasn't that talented. She might not be able to take him herself, but Wuhu was sure her little cousin would have no problem handling Feng Xiaotian down the road. Yang nodded slightly, looking at Feng Xiaotian with pity. Rejection is one thing, but the worst thing you can do is make someone feel invisible. That must be why Feng Xiaotian had such a hard time chasing his older cousin. It wasn't just his lack of tact, he'd also made a terrible first impression on Wuhu. Otherwise, with all Feng Xiaotian had going for him, it shouldn't have been so hard, right? As Yang felt bad for Feng Xiaotian, Shui Bing'er and Yue'er looked confused. Little Yang was a support-type soul master. Even if he got stronger, he couldn't teach Feng Xiaotian a lesson, right? Why was Wuhu so confident? They didn't get it. So, you're trying to get with my sister? Yang asked Feng Xiaotian. Feng Xiaotian, caught in an awkward situation, looked at Yang gratefully, nodded, and said, a gentleman is attracted to beauty. But kid, it's Feng Xiaotian, what's your name? Heh. Yang chuckled and said, I'm calling you, kid, and not, white hair monster because of Divine Wind Academy. Otherwise, after what you said, Blazing Fire Academy could kick you out. The 5 element academies were gathered here today thanks to Whale Glue. The relationship between Blazing Fire Academy and Divine Wind Academy was similar to its relationship with Tianshui Academy. Huolai had told him the academy shared the secret of Whale Glue with Tianshui Academy for free. If Tianshui Academy got it, then Divine Wind Academy should have too. In other words, Divine Wind Academy was getting a freebie, so for Feng Xiaotian to be trash-talking Blazing Fire Academy. If the leaders of Divine Wind Academy were here, they'd be mortified. What was this? You let Divine Wind Academy get something for free, and this is how you repay Blazing Fire Academy. Chapter 33. Can you do it? Thin Dog. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Hee hee. Feng Xiaotian chuckled awkwardly, unsure of what to say. How old are you? Ever had a girlfriend? What's your soul power level? Got family? And take off the mask. You're young, why the mystery? Yang fired off a barrage of soul-searching questions. Feng Xiaotian. Okay, I'm 18. Never dated. Level 36, Strong Attack Battle Soul Master. Orphan. Feng Xiaotian glanced at Wuhu before reluctantly removing his mask. It wasn't that Feng Xiaotian wore a mask because he was ugly. He wasn't exactly a heartthrob, but he wasn't bad-looking either. 18, level 36. You sure you're up to this? Dude. Yang sighed, shaking his head and teasing, he wouldn't say this to just anyone. Soul Master talent wasn't something anyone could control. Most Soul Masters couldn't reach level 36 by 18. For most, that was close to their limit. He didn't want to hurt someone's pride, but Feng Xiaotian was different. Yang knew he was a genius with innate full soul power. Even though Feng Xiaotian and his cousin Wuhu weren't dating, Yang couldn't help feeling bad for him. With innate full soul power as a starting point, a first soul ring that was close to the best ratio would increase soul power by 2 levels. And the second and third soul rings would increase it by 1 level each, for a total of 14 levels of soul power. That meant Feng Xiaotian had been developing his martial soul for around 12 years, increasing his soul power by 22 levels, less than 2 levels per year on average. Seriously? That's your innate full soul power? What do you mean, can't do it? I do have innate full soul power, Feng Xiaotian said stiffly, and he was a wolf, not some mutt. Oh, innate full soul power. Please, tell me, how are you only level 36 at 18 with innate full soul power? Yang asked dismissively. Feng Xiaotian bristled. I focused on creating my own soul skills. Aha. Yang shook his head, smacking his lips. If you actually practiced with innate full soul power, you'd be at the 5th ring by 20. You'd easily be level 45 or higher at 18. I don't know what kind of guys my sister's into, but I know she doesn't go for hot air. You want to prove you have innate full soul power, then prove it. I'm talking about the next Soul Master competition, and the one after that. If you reach 5-ring Soul King by then I'll believe you have innate full soul power, going from level 36 to level 50 in 6 years. Cakewalk for innate full soul power, and I'm telling you, you're in your prime. Don't waste time inventing skills. Just practice. That's what you should be doing. Even if you want to invent skills, wait until your soul power's higher and you level up slower. Yang wasn't trying to be mean, he just wanted Feng Xiaotian to get serious. Feng Xiaotian was a good guy in the books, and Yang suspected his cousin couldn't resist his, persistence. They might actually end up together, but even if that wasn't a factor, Yang saw potential in Feng Xiaotian. He knew the continent was going to descend into chaos. The Xiangjia Academy was backed by the Xiangjia sect, and the Leitang Academy by the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family, but the other element academies, Qihua, Jianshui, and Xuefeng, would merge. That was inevitable. After the merger, he and Feng Xiaotian would essentially be family. Yang didn't want Feng Xiaotian to waste his golden years. Xiaoyang, why are you talking to this weirdo? Bing'er, Yue'er, let's go. Seeing Yang still chatting, Wuhu, still annoyed, pushed him, Shui Bing'er, and Shui Yue'er away. Hey, Xiaoyang's sister. I'll prove it to you. Feng Xiaotian shouted at Wuhu's departing back. He didn't know her name, so Xiaoyang's sister was the best he could do. Wuhu sped up her pace at Feng Xiaotian's shout. What was that weirdo saying? Did he really think she liked arrogant jerks like him? Meanwhile, in a conference room, Huo Lai, the dean of Qihua College, Mu Xie and 4 other vice deans, Shui Yenyu, the dean of Tianshui College, Feng Zhen, the dean of Xuefeng College, Lei Batian, the dean of Leiting College, and Hu Yanhong, the dean of Xiangjia College, were gathered. Behind Huo Lai stood a slightly embarrassed young man with short reddish-brown hair. Huo Lai, spit it out. No need to beat around the bush. Hu Yanhong, a hulking figure with dark skin and a height of over 8 feet, like a black, miniature King Kong, asked Huo Lai in a booming voice. Hu Yanhong hadn't planned to attend after receiving the invitation from Qihua College. Xiangjia and Qihua weren't exactly allies, no point wasting time on formalities, but when he saw the letter mentioned a major discovery that Qihua wanted to share with all the elemental academies, Hu Yanhong decided to come. As for bringing some funds, no big deal. If Blazing Fire Academy had something truly valuable to offer, Elephant Armor Academy was willing to pay the price. Lei Batian nodded at Hu Yanhong's words. Yeah, Huo Lai, just say it. If your major discovery is actually useful, Thunder Academy will foot the bill. Shui Yenyu and Feng Zhen raised their eyebrows, exchanging a knowing glance. Blazing Fire Academy was clearly aiming for a payday from Elephant Armor and Thunder Academy, but that was normal. Those 2 academies were different. They were supported by 2 of the 7 major sects on the continent. Their allegiance lay with their respective sections. Especially the Elephant Armor Academy. It was less a Heaven Do Empire Academy and more a Spirit Hall Academy. With divided loyalties, the relationships were strained, so these kinds of fees were reasonable. Alright, no more games. Huiyun, show them your soul rings. Huo Lai nodded, gesturing to Huiyun behind him. Yes, Dean. Huaha, possess. Huiyun's fire soul power surged, a red crane shadow flashed, and the fire crane marshal's soul manifested. The index fingers on both hands turned into crane claws, and 3 soul rings of yellow, and purple bloomed around him. Chapter 34, The Correct Way to Get Something for Free. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Seriously? He's just a 3-ring soul master. What's the big deal? Hu Yanhong, a seasoned leader, examined Huiyun but didn't see anything special. He asked, genuinely confused. Lei Batian, who was observing even more intently, suddenly turned to Huolai, his voice deep. That third soul ring, you said it's around 2,000 years old. Is this the important discovery you mentioned, that even though they're all considered 1,000-year soul rings, a close look reveals a color difference between a ring that's 1,400 to 5,000 years old and one that's specifically 2,000 years old? Both are purple, sure, but the latter is noticeably darker. Soul masters can use soul bones to boost their physical capabilities and potentially handle an overlimit soul ring, but that's clearly not the case here. Otherwise, Huolai wouldn't have brought it up specifically. Sharp eyes, Brother Lei. It is indeed a 2,000-year-plus third soul ring. And Huiyun hasn't enhanced his body with any soul bones. Huolai said with a smile. Lei Batian and Hu Yanhong's pupils immediately narrowed. Maybe they weren't experts in the finer details, but they were experienced. They understood the advantages an overlimit soul ring could give a soul master, and unlike relying on rare soul bones, Blazing Fire Academy's discovery seemed applicable to most soul masters, not just a lucky few. Truth be told, Huiyun isn't the only one at Blazing Fire Academy with an overlimit soul ring. Mu Yang has one too. His second ring is 1,000 years old, and it shows the effects of whale glue even better than Huiyun's, but Huolai preferred to keep Mu Yang out of certain faction sites for now, namely, the ambitious Spirit Hall. Hu Yanhong is a direct descendant of the Elephant Armor sect, essentially Spirit Hall's underlings. Any genius at Blazing Fire Academy would be reported to Spirit Hall immediately. Because promising talent equals future strength, and Spirit Hall sees independent strong individuals as unpredictable dangers, even if Mu Yang seems like just a support-type soul master, who knows what Spirit Hall might do behind the scenes. Eliminating potentially threatening forces early, especially gifted soul masters, is a classic move by factions across the continent. Of course, this doesn't include purely academic institutions. Academies are just platforms for training soul masters. They usually avoid conflicts with other powers, no conflict of interest, and with decent strength of their own. Other factions don't dare mess with them. They don't really have enemies, so, even if a super genius pops up in another group, it doesn't impact the academy. It's on you, they figure. I just trained them. Where they go after graduation is up to the highest bidder. That's why the top soul master academies have connections everywhere. Their graduates are in every faction, and some even become high-ranking leaders. Lei Batian snapped back to reality, stood up, and quickly walked over to Huiyun. He grabbed his arm, examining it closely. After a moment, he released Huiyun and turned back to Huolai. No signs of soul bone integration. That's right. Brother Hua, name your price for the method of attaching this overlimit soul ring. Thunder Academy will buy it. Thunder Academy is backed by the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Clan, one of the top 3 sections. They might not be as flashy as the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School, but they have plenty of money. Plus, if Thunder Academy buys it, it means the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Clan is buying it too. They can report the method and likely get the clan to foot the entire bill. Elephant Academy wants in too. Hu Yanhong chimed in. He was thinking the same thing as Lei Batian, and unlike Thunder Academy, Elephant Armor Academy not only has the Elephant Armor sect behind it, but they have a backer as well. After buying the method, the Elephant Armor Academy can share it with their sect, and they can foot the bill, and if the Elephant Armor sect plays it right, they can report it to Spirit Hall and get them to pay. Maybe even get a commendation from the Pope. Hu Yanhong was already calculating the angles. What he didn't know was that Spirit Hall's envoy was already on their way to Blazing Fire Academy with a pile of gold. The Elephant Armor sect can get their academy paid for, but will Spirit Hall cover for the sect? Or will Spirit Hall pay for the sect, only to realize the news didn't arrive in time due to poor communication, resulting in unnecessary spending? Only time would tell. Thanks for your generosity, brothers Lei and Hu Yan. To be honest, Blazing Fire Academy spent a fortune on this discovery. Ruhua, explain the details to the deans. Huolai laughed, then turned to Yen Ruhua beside him. This was a negotiation, and that meant haggling. He wasn't good at that, so he left it to the sharp-tongued and articulate Yen Ruhua. After half an hour of back and forth, they settled on a price of 5 million gold coins per academy. Lei Batian pulled out 3 gold coin cards worth 1 million each and handed them to Huolai. Brother Hua, I came in a hurry and didn't bring enough funds. Thunder Academy will pay 3 million now, and send the remaining 2 million later. He glanced at Shui Yenyu and Feng Zhen sitting nearby. They probably discussed this with Huolai beforehand. If it wasn't free for them, it was definitely an insider price. But Lei Batian wasn't too jealous. After all, Jianshui Academy and Xuefeng Academy were closer to Blazing Fire Academy than his own Thunder Academy. Besides, 5 million gold coins wasn't a backbreaking amount. And with the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan covering the cost later, Thunder Academy wasn't losing out, like Lei Batian, who Yanhong hadn't brought enough cash because Huolai hadn't given them a heads up. He was 1 million short of Lei Batian's payment and was prepared to pay the rest later as well. Huolai agreed without hesitation. They were all influential figures, and wouldn't welch on a deal for a few million gold coins, or rather, it wasn't so much that Huolai trusted their character, but he knew that Thunder Academy and Elephant Armor Academy couldn't afford to lose face. Chapter 35 Departure. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In this round, Blazing Fire Academy walked away with 10 million gold soul coins from Thunder Academy and Elephant Academy, not a bad start at all. And this is before reps from powerhouses like Spirit Hall and Xinglua Empire have even shown up. This thing's gonna be huge. With the deal done, Huolai turned to Feng Zhen and the others. Alright everyone, the Soul Master competition is right around the corner. Seeing as we've got some of the best students from each academy here, how about a little one-on-one warm-up? A sneak peek at the main event, if you will. Came on short notice, and I only brought my 2 girls. Team Tianshui's already out training, Shui Yenyu explained. Sounds good to me. Just so you know, Kamikaze Academy is top dog when it comes to elemental academies. Feng Zhen declared confidently. Yeah, right. Easy there, Feng. Thunder Academy's the one to beat. Don't forget who took Kamikaze down in the last Soul Master competition, Lei Batian scoffed. And don't forget who had the best record among the elemental academies the term before that, and the year after that. Besides, if I remember right, Thunder Team ate dirt before they even had a shot at our Kamikaze team last time. Feng Zhen shot back, Hu Yanhong was itching to chime in, hyping up Elephant Armor Academy, but remembering their track record in past Soul Master competitions, he bit his tongue. Among the 5 elemental colleges, Kamikaze and Thunder are the big rivals for the top spot. Blazing Fire and Tianshui are in the middle of the pack, with Elephant Armor bringing up the rear. Truth be told, Blazing Fire and Tianshui have had their moments, even topping the elemental academies in the Soul Master competition a time or two, but Elephant Armor? Never. Not once. It's a fundamental problem. Without some serious talent, it's not gonna change. See, Elephant Armor Academy is tied to the Elephant Armor sect, which is basically an extension of Spirit Hall. So, if students aren't planning on joining Spirit Hall, they usually skip Elephant Armor Academy altogether. That one thing alone keeps a lot of talented young Soul Masters away. Even though Spirit Hall commands a little more than half the Soul Masters in the mainland, that number's mostly made up of regular folks who aren't gonna go very far. Being a Soul Master's all about family history. Aside from a few lucky exceptions, the Real Stars come from the big Soul Master families. Luckily, Spirit Hall's got its own share of Soul Master families, led by the Angel family, and along with the occasional genius they recruit, they've got a solid fighting force at the top. Otherwise, Spirit Hall would just be a paper tiger, and if you're thinking about joining Spirit Hall, you're better off going straight to Spirit Academy in Spirit City. It's the best advanced Soul Master Academy on the continent, hands down. As for those without much talent, even if they get into Elephant Academy, they're not making the team. All of this means that while Elephant Armor Academy does have a few good students, they're usually from the Elephant Armor sect. The Elephant Armor sect's signature martial spirit is the Diamond Mammoth, which is all about defense, but packs a punch too. Still, at the end of the day, they're defense-oriented soul masters. The Elephant Armor Academy team is made up entirely of defense-type soul masters. They're not very flexible, which gives other academies a chance to exploit their weaknesses. Good thing the Tiendo Division qualifiers have 5 spots up for grabs. Plus, Tiendo Royal Academy's Huangdo team gets a free pass to the finals. That gives Xiangjia Academy a shot at making it through to the finals, despite its shortcomings. 3 days later, one morning. Bing'er, Yue'er, come visit Blazing Fire Academy whenever you get the chance. Yang said goodbye to Shui Bing'er and Shui Yue'er. They're at a critical point in their training, and since Blazing Fire Academy doesn't have a training area for ice and water-based skills, the sisters can't stay for long. Time to hit the road. As for Xiao Bai, from the 5 big 4-element colleges. These are the all-star students who'll be competing in the Soul Master competition next year, all with a soul power level reaching the 4th ring Soul Sect. Surprise, surprise, Thunder Academy took first, followed by Kamikaze, Blazing Fire in third, and Elephant Armor at the bottom. Hey, Xiaomiang, you just want my sister to come back, and I'm just along for the ride, right? Shui Yue'er teased. Yue'er, don't be silly. Shui Bing'er nudged Shui Yue'er playfully. That's not true. I welcome you both. Yang waved his hand, denying it. Yang, are you sure you don't want to come to our Qianren Academy? If you're worried about being too far from home, don't be. Xia and I go way back. You're Xia's nephew, which makes you my nephew too. Auntie'll take good care of you, I promise. Plus, Bing'er wants you to come to Qianren College too. Before leaving, Shui Yenyu made one last push to get Yang to transfer to Qianren College. After watching him for the past few days, Shui Yenyu suspected that Yang was a little more mature than he looked. It wasn't obvious, but she guessed he had a crush on her oldest niece. Auntie, stop talking nonsense. Shui Bing'er blushed and cut her off. She's only 12 years old. She's got no time for romance. And besides, Xiaomiyang's only 8. Even if he was looking for love, he'd be stuck with someone who's still a little kid. Oh. Bing'er, don't you want little Yang to come to our Qianren College? Shui Yenyu teased. Shui Bing'er. Seriously, Auntie, if you want little Yang to come to Qianren College, why drag me into this? There's no good way to answer this. If she says no, their friendship could be over, but if she says yes, that's even worse. She's not crushing on a kid. Okay, Yenyu, drop it. Xiaoyang's not a good fit for Qianren College, Mu Xia said to Shui Yenyu, rolling her eyes. Mu Yang's second martial spirit, Naruto, is a fire type, and he's also practicing the fire type extreme flame meditation method. Since Qianren Academy doesn't have a training area for fire-type soul masters, Yang couldn't possibly go there. TSK. What a shame. Shui Yenyu clicked her tongue and led the sisters to the carriage. A moment later, 2 heads popped out of the carriage window, waving. Goodbye, little Yang. Goodbye. Yang waved back. Thanks to my friend 20200123095257416 for your monthly ticket. Thanks to my friends 202103011065282159282 2023-081-1826, 20210301106582630634, Xiaotian, 2022060616363252, Chao Jia, Xian Jieyu, Library Elf, Shi, Lele's Golden Gunslinger, 2019021301500475, People Who Don't Eat Dinner, Wei Xiu, Qianyu Shura, Recommendation Votes for Qianren World, Hongmeng Master, and also, please collect, recommend, and vote monthly. Chapter 36. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Time flies, a month and a half zips by, it's afternoon, and the sun beats down. At Blazing Academy's Fire Plant Garden simulated training field, Yang sits cross-legged on a thick branch of a fire tree and silver flower, facing the scorching sun, practicing the body refining technique he finally figured out. Early this morning, after more than half a year of work, Yang finally cracked the code on his body refining technique, Sun Body Refining. Thanks to his increasingly powerful mental strength and his frequent sips of the spirit-nourishing silver flower produced by the fire tree and silver flower, the Sun Body Refining progressed much faster than the Taiyin Spirit Refining. Sun Body Refining has two parts. First, the training method, channeling soul power along specific routes to fully temper the blood, flesh, bones, and organs. Second, the nourishing method, transforming sunlight into special blood energy to warm the body after being tempered by the soul power. They work together. You train, then nourish, strengthening the body and improving fitness. Otherwise, training without nourishing is like over-exercising. You might not see problems at first, but you'll eventually damage your body and develop all sorts of ailments, because soul power is involved. Sun Body Refining is divided into realms directly matching the soul power level, unlike Taiyin Spirit Refining, which is almost independent of the soul master system. This body refining method is unique. Its cultivation has a threshold tied to the soul power level. When the soul power level is high but physical strength is below that threshold, Sun Body Refining gives huge benefits. He's just starting, and since his physical strength is lower than the threshold, Yang can feel subtle changes in his body every minute he practices. But once his physical strength improves and reaches the threshold, the benefits will drop significantly. If his physical strength exceeds the soul power level's threshold, the benefits will be negligible, or even non-existent. Sun Body Refining has this soul power level threshold because it uses the practitioner's soul power to temper the flesh, blood, bones, and organs, like a big horse easily pulling a small cart, while a small horse struggles with a big one. Strictly speaking, this threshold is linked not to the soul power level, but to its quality. It's just that for most soul masters, the higher the level, the higher the quality. Because this threshold is tied to soul power quality, another issue arises. Since soul masters are different, their martial souls are different, and their soul power quality varies, practitioners at the same soul power level will have different Sun Body Refining thresholds. Stronger soul power leads to a higher threshold, and vice versa. The person who would see the fastest results from Sun Body Refining isn't a low-level soul master like Yang, but a 9-ring title Douluo. They could quickly get their physique to a terrifying level. Before he knew it, sunset was here. Whoa, already? Looking at the red sun, Yang smacked his lips. This technique is addictive. If your physical strength hasn't reached the threshold, you get hooked on the constant improvement. Warming the body with the blood energy from the sun feels better than a full body massage. It's so warm, he forgot about meditation this afternoon. Luckily, he can also do the extreme flame meditation method at night, even if it's not as beneficial as at noon. Otherwise, he'd have to skip practice today. He flexed his hands and feet, feeling his physical fitness was improved, and nodded, satisfied. His physical fitness was definitely boosted by the soul power of the level 22 Great Soul Master. Of course, his soul power level isn't high, and he's taken whale glue before, so his physical fitness wasn't bad to begin with. Judging by this afternoon's progress, Yang figures he'll reach the threshold in less than a week, at which point the benefits will drop. Suddenly remembering something, Yang pulled a mirror from his soul guide storage bracelet. Looking at his ruddy face, he knew he was healthy, with no trace of weakness. Yang grinned. His pale face from frequent soul power consumption had vanished, replaced by the special energy and blood from the sun. With Sun Body Refining, anyone who calls Yang weak is going to regret it. Compared to the extreme flame meditation method and the Taiyin Spirit Refining method, the Sun Body Refining method might be the most heaven-defying cultivation method. After admiring himself, Yang put away the mirror and thought, everyone wants something, not power, money, or strength, but life. The more powerful you are, the more you crave immortality. Some powerful people even do evil things like slaughtering living beings and stealing life to achieve it. Soul masters die when their bodies age, not their souls. If you could have a young, healthy body, even a soul that had lived for centuries could live again. The nourishing method of Sun Body Refining transforms sunlight into special blood energy to nourish the body. Aging slows down, and lifespan increases. Sun Body Refining isn't just body refining, it's a life-extending magic skill. Wow! It's good nobody knows this technique, or that it even exists. Qihua Academy couldn't protect sun-body refining, much less Mu Yang who figured it out. Chapter 37 Oracle. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 6 days later, in the afternoon. Ugh, I really hate to stop, Mu Yang said after ending his practice. He smacked his lips, regretting the incredible feeling he had before. After a week of training, his physical strength had reached the limit for someone at level 22 soul power according to the sun-body refining technique. Continuing without increasing his soul power would be a waste. Even Mu Yang, a dedicated workaholic, found himself temporarily without the motivation to train. Unless something unexpected happened, he wouldn't need to practice the body refining technique for a while. If the upcoming Immortal Herb plan went smoothly, his physical abilities would get another huge boost, far surpassing the limit for his current soul power level. Only then would it make sense to continue sun-body refining. The next morning, Mu Yang told Huolai that he had another dream. Hearing this, Huolai got excited and quickly asked, Xiaoyang, did the person in your dream tell you about the immortal herb this time? Huolai wasn't surprised that Mu Yang had another dream. In fact, he'd been wondering why the great being hadn't sent down another message after the first miracle. After practicing sun-body refining, Mu Yang was no longer as weak as he had been. Huolai and the others noticed the big change right away. Huolai believed that the great god had used their power to perform a miracle and cure Mu Yang's martial soul problem, combined with the message about trading immortal herb knowledge with Yang Wudi from the Pei clan. Huolai had a feeling that he would soon see the legendary immortal herb with unbelievable effects. Mu Yang was surprised to hear this. He hadn't even started making things up yet, and Huolai already knew what he was going to say. Yes, it's about the immortal herbs. The figure told me that there's a special place in the middle of Sunset Forest with a strange spring. Many rare plants grow around the spring, including lots of immortal herbs. He also told me that Bai He, the Min clan leader, has an immortal herb called Crystal Blood Dragon Ginseng. If Bai He didn't have the Crystal Blood Dragon Ginseng, but instead had something like Yoxiang Qilua or Snow Swan Kiss, which either didn't improve strength or couldn't be consumed, Mu Yang wouldn't bother making a plan. After all, the immortal herbs in the Yin-Yang Eye of Ice and Fire would be more than enough for him and his friends, but the Crystal Blood Dragon Ginseng was different. He couldn't miss it. First, Huolai and Huowushuang both had Unicorn Fire Tyrannosaurus martial souls. While it was a top-quality beast martial soul, it was still much weaker than the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus martial soul. Mu Yang remembered that among the immortal herbs in the Yin-Yang Eye of Ice and Fire, the Earth Dragon Gourd was the most likely to evolve the Unicorn Fire Tyrannosaurus martial soul. The Earth Dragon Gourd was earth-based, and the Unicorn Fire Tyrannosaurus was fire-based. Fire and earth combined to create lava. If all went as planned, the martial soul would evolve into a dragon martial soul with lava abilities. What about the fact that the lava element didn't match the extreme flame meditation method? Easy. He would just create a lava meditation method later. Based on the extreme flame meditation method, rederiving a lava version would be much faster than creating the original technique, but there was only one Earth Dragon Gourd, so Mu Yang turned his attention to Bai He. The Crystal Blood Dragon Ginseng would be perfect for a dragon martial soul. Huolai could take the Earth Dragon Gourd, and Huowushuang could take the Crystal Blood Dragon Ginseng. It was very likely that the martial souls of both men would evolve, becoming some of the strongest beast martial souls. And the Crystal Blood Dragon Ginseng would be perfect for his Ginseng martial soul, but the Crystal Blood Dragon Ginseng wasn't as good as the 8-angled black ice grass and the fiery apricot combined. Plus, it wouldn't help his Naruto martial soul, so Mu Yang didn't even consider it. Were the Earth Dragon Gourd and the Crystal Blood Dragon Ginseng not fully matured immortal herbs? If it could evolve their martial souls, it was better than taking other fully matured immortal herbs that had low compatibility, regardless of whether the medicinal properties were worse. Second, Mu Yang wanted to prevent Tang San from getting his hands on the immortal herbs in the future. Bai He was Tang San's uncle. With Tang San's natural full soul power and twin martial souls, Bai He would likely invest in him and give him the Crystal Blood Dragon Ginseng. Without Mu Yang, Tang San would have everything good coming his way, but with Mu Yang around, Tang San wouldn't be able to get any immortal herbs. No way, not a chance. Working hard, planning for opportunities, improving himself, and taking down potential rivals, that was Mu Yang's way. Tang San had already sealed his fate. Bai he, Sunset Forest, Huolai mumbled to himself, touching his chin. Alright, Xiaoyang, let's go to Sunset Forest first. As for the White Crane of the Min clan, he's close to Yang Wudi of the Pe clan. I'll think of something later. Mu Yang shook his head. The person also said that the treasure land in Sunset Forest isn't empty. By Phosphorus Douluo has taken it over. Dugu Bo, Huolai frowned. Dugu Bo was always a lone wolf. How could he have become a titled Douluo? Could it be that he had taken immortal herbs? If so, things would be difficult. The immortal herbs were incredibly valuable. Even if Dugu Bo owed him a favor, he might not give them up. Don't worry, By Phosphorus Douluo doesn't know anything about immortal herbs or their worth. Mu Yang added, seeing Huolai's hesitation. That's great. Huolai smiled, not knowing the value of the herbs. That made things easier. Otherwise, he would have to resort to tricks. Chapter 38 Dugu Bo's Enthusiasm. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Hey, uncle, what's your soul power level these days? Mu Yang asked Huolai. He knew Huolai was an 8-ring soul Douluo, just not the exact level. 88, almost 89. Why? Huolai didn't hold back. Just curious. Mu Yang waved it off. A soul Douluo pushing 89 could probably hit quasi-title Douluo status after snagging that Earth Dragon Golden Melon. Add the 9th soul ring, boom, title Douluo time. Then, he could swing by and hit up Bai He for that Crystal Blood Dragon Ginseng, flexing that new title Douluo muscle. If Bai He played ball, he'd trade it for the Yoxiang Chilua Fairy Herb, the one that does nothing for your strength, or even worse, the Snow Swan Kiss. Can't give that to Bai He. Imagine if some dude got his hands on it and chucked it into the river of blood on Hell Road in Slaughter City. Total disaster. Honestly, Mu Yang thought the reason those evil soul masters were so out of control in the future was that, besides the lack of a Wuhuan Hall cracking down on them, Slaughter City was basically a revolving door. Good thing no one realizes this. When Tang San got deified and started dropping edicts from on high, everyone was too scared to step out of line, or they'd be social pariahs, and if Bai He didn't play ball. If you're not a title Douluo, you can't strong-arm one. It's just asking for trouble. Bai He was a bit stubborn, sure, but hopefully, he wouldn't be that dumb. Of course, even if the fairy herb deal didn't go through, the Min family was basically broke, right? He could always buy it with gold soul coins. That morning, Huolai wrapped up his academy stuff and the two of them hopped in a carriage heading for Tiando City. No need for sneaky tactics here since Dugu Bo was clueless anyway. Huolai was a big shot, he wasn't about to start sneaking around. He'd just cash in that favor Dugu Bo owed him. Chihua City wasn't far from Tiando City. By the evening of the third day, they were there. They checked into Tiando Hotel, and Huolai had the bellhop deliver his card to the Dugu mansion. Xiaoyang, Bailan Douluo's home. We'll visit tomorrow morning. Huolai told Mu Yang after Dugu Bo replied that night. Got it. Mu Yang nodded. The next morning, outside the Dugu mansion, Mu Yang and Huolai stepped out of the carriage to find Dugu Bo waiting at the door like he'd been there all day. Huh? Mu Yang's eyes widened in surprise. If Huolai was already a 9-ring title Douluo, he'd get why Dugu Bo was rolling out the red carpet. Title Douluos respect title Douluos. It's common courtesy, but Huolai wasn't a title Douluo. No offense, but even if Huolai was the dean of Blazing Fire Academy and an 8-ring soul Douluo, he was still leagues below Dugu Bo. Was someone else important visiting today? Then, Dugu Bo spotted Huolai and Mu Yang and greeted them with a huge smile. Huolai bowed, sorry for coming on short notice. Mu Yang followed suit, hello, senior. Ha! Missed you since we met at Sunset Forest. Brother Huo, welcome, welcome. Come on in, let's chat. Dugu Bo waved them inside. Mu Yang was even more lost now. What was going on? Was this Dugu Bo a body double or something? Even if Dugu Yan's supercharged soul ring proved the whale glue worked, there's no way it would make Dugu Bo act like this. Later, in the Dugu mansion's living room, after getting tea from the maids, Dugu Bo started chatting with Huolai. glancing at Yang every so often. Yang was confused. What was up with this guy? He felt like he was being sized up for something. Finally, when Yang was starting to get antsy, Dugu's face turned serious. He dismissed the maids and turned his attention to Yang. "Kid, what's your name?" Dugu asked Yang. "Senior, I'm Yang." Yang answered. "Yang, seems like your soul is a food-related one, right?" Dugu stared at Yang with a glint in his eye. Last time they met at Sunset Forest, he'd spaced out on something important. By the time he realized it, he'd already left with his granddaughter. Dugu planned to visit Blazing Academy eventually, but now Yang had come to him instead. "It's a food-related soul." Yang nodded, relieved, seeing Dugu fixate on his soul. Yang had a pretty good idea why he was being so nice. It had to be about his ginseng soul and full innate soul power. Dugu had a major weakness, snake venom. His own Jade Phosphorus Snake King soul was poisoning him. Animal souls like the Jade Phosphorus Snake King need a host to work. Dugu's control over his soul power wasn't perfect, so using his soul always meant getting a little dose of that poison. If Dugu was a weak soul master, any random healer could detox him. A support soul master with detoxing skills or a food soul master who could whip up detoxing dishes would do the trick, but because Dugu was a 9-ring title Douluo, low-level soul skills were nearly useless on him. Dugu was out of luck. There weren't any food-type title Douluos around to help, but now, everything changed. Dugu had met him, a food soul master with full innate soul power. Someone with full innate soul power was bound to become a title Douluo. Even if there wasn't one in the mainland, if someone with full innate soul power couldn't become a title Douluo, the whole idea was dead. So, Dugu was being so nice because he was looking at the future food-type title Douluo. As long as he chose the right soul skills, he'd be able to detoxify him and Dugu Yen someday. Thanks for the monthly ticket, 202212031441388917. Thanks for the recommendation tickets, Chinyu Shura, 20210301065826306334, Wu, Xiaotian, 2022060616363252, Memory Bookworm, and Hongmeng Lord. Please collect, recommend, and vote for the monthly ticket. Chapter 39. Just pick it. You are listening at novelfull.audio. So, Dugu said, right on cue. "Kid, got any ideas for your next soul skill?" Holding back his excitement, Dugu waited for an answer. Yang hesitated a moment. "Maybe you could give me some pointers." Yang wanted a soul food skill that could relieve abnormal conditions. Planning it as his third, it might not work every time, but in a pinch, it could be a lifesaver. And abnormal conditions weren't just poisoning. Things like illness, curses, or even foreign energy invasions counted. Foreign energy invasion. Think Bibi Dong's soul-eating spider emperor's sixth skill, eternal creation. Super powerful, it ignores physical defense, cuts energy defense in half, and the damage just keeps spreading. You can only resist it with soul power, until you're completely drained. But as scary as it sounds, a skill that neutralizes abnormal conditions turns it into just another powerful attack with armor piercing. That's because the trauma from eternal creation is a foreign energy invasion. He did have plans along those lines, but wasn't about to blurt it out. Easy come, easy go, right? He and Dugu weren't exactly family. No need to rush things. Dugu needed something from him, and he was delivering. When the moment was right, he'd casually ask for some rare plants, and the fairy grass deal would be sealed. Dugu wasn't blind. He knew exactly what was up. "So, you're a second-level soul master now, right? What do your first two soul food skills do?" Dugu asked. "My first one restores soul power and mental energy. The second heals injuries and restores stamina," Yang replied. "No secrets." Dugu leaned in, stretching his neck. "Ever thought about a detoxification skill?" "Detoxification? Got something in mind, senior?" "Playing dumb, huh? Fine, I'll just lay it out. If you can make soul food that detoxifies, come find me, Dugu anytime. Got your back." Dugu chuckled, then thumped his chest in promise. He wasn't putting a number on it, just saying come find me because he knew his and Dugu Yan's snake venom problem was chronic. Sure, he could treat the symptoms, but the real fix. No more using his soul, yeah, right. A soul master not using their soul. Every time he did, he'd get recontaminated. Which meant needing Mu Yang again, hence the open-ended offer. Sounds good to me. Mu Yang said immediately. You nosy little brat, not even a little curious about what I'm dealing with. A bit, but none of my business. Just name the time and place, senior, and I'm there. He already knew Dugu Bo's problem, no need to pry, plus, poking at someone's sore spots was just bad manners. Best to know and keep it to himself. Dugu Bo raised an eyebrow, then changed the subject. Hey, you ever think about going to Qianren Royal Academy? Mu Yang. Why was everyone trying to poach him? Shui Yenyu wanted him at Tianshui, now Dugu Bo was pushing Qianren. Shui Yenyu wanted to be his aunt, Dugu Bo, grandpa, maybe? Actually, not impossible. God helps those who help themselves, right? The snake venom could only be managed, not cured. Having Mu Yang around as an outsider would be a hassle. Soul food had a shelf life, couldn't be stored forever. And Mu Yang couldn't always drop everything, but as one of the family. Super convenient. Plus, his talent alone, that innate soul power. Enough to make any potential father-in-law happy. Blazing Fire Academy's great, senior. No plans to switch. Mu Yang shot him down, too bad, Dugu Bo thought, shaking his head inside, then he remembered Huolai and Mu Yang showing up together. Meaning Huolai had something he needed too. Brother Hua, Dugu Bo asked, what brings you here today? Don't hold back. Well, Huolai began, laying it on thick. They say medicine and poison are two sides of the same coin. My master's a master of poison, so I must have been exposed to some rare plants along the way. I was hoping you could point me to some sources. He couldn't just come out and ask for fairy grass, too valuable, too suspicious. This roundabout way was safer, rare plants, a strange look crossed Dugu Bo's face. He might not have much, but when it came to rare plants, Dugu Bo was king. Hands down. Brother Hua, you came to the right place. I've got a whole garden of them in the Sunset Forest, come on over after lunch. Take whatever you want. Dugu Bo said generously, he had a reputation to maintain. Huolai wouldn't go crazy and strip the place bare, as long as it wasn't extortion, he could handle it. He had more than enough to spare anyway, what Huolai wanted them for. None of his business. Huolai and Mu Yang weren't asking about his detoxification needs, so he wouldn't pry into their plant business. Personal privacy. He was past the age of being nosy. Just a yes or no thing. Huolai was thrilled, but kept it cool. Thank you, Your Majesty. Don't mention it. Dugu Bo waved it off. Mu Yang, thinking, fairy grass, here I come. Time to fly. Chapter 40 Yin-Yang Eyes of Ice and Fire, Part 1. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. With Dugu Bo playing the gracious host, Huolai and Mu Yang enjoyed a lavish lunch at his mansion. That afternoon, the three of them set out for Sunset Forest. As a title Douluo, Dugu Bo could fly, a skill available to any nine-ring soul master. Mu Yang, infused with the one-horned fire Tyrannosaurus spirit, flew alongside. Sunset Forest wasn't far from Qianren City. In under 3 hours, they reached its central area. As Huolai carried him through the air, Mu Yang's excitement grew as he spotted a hill shrouded in lavender poisonous mist in the distance. The immortal herbs would significantly boost his soul power cultivation, which had been lagging. Even if his two top-tier martial souls didn't evolve, their essence would be greatly enhanced, elevating them from their current lowest-tier status. Plus, with so many immortal herbs in the ice and fire Yin-Yang well, the benefits wouldn't be limited to him. It was about to be a rising tide lifts all boats situation, and barring any unforeseen issues, Blazing Fire Academy would soon be among the select few forces on the continent boasting a 9-ring title Douluo. While Dugu Bo wasn't fully aware of the secrets of the ice and fire Yin-Yang well, he knew his medicine garden was a rare treasure. To protect the exotic plants from forest soul beasts and soul masters hunting for spirits, Dugu had surrounded the hill containing the ice and fire Yin-Yang well with a dense ring of green phosphorus 7 fiends flowers, creating a poisonous mist that contaminated anyone who entered. While not as potent as Dugu's own jade phosphorus serpent venom, the jade phosphorus 7 fiends flower was still highly toxic. Unless you were an 80+ soul power level master or could immediately neutralize the poison, exposure would lead to convulsions, meridian shrinkage, and death within an hour. Yang, however, saw significant flaws in Dugu's poisonous fog defense. Almost instantly, Yang devised 2 ways to bypass the poisonous mist. The mist primarily protected the ground level, thinning out considerably in the air and practically non-existent in the central area, leaving it completely undefended against flying soul beasts and masters. Additionally, the mist didn't penetrate the ground, making it possible to bypass it with a tunnel. Just as Yang was pondering this, Dugu cautioned Huolai, "Brother Hua, this purple mist is a highly toxic barrier I've set up. Make sure the kid doesn't touch it." Dugu then flew towards the top of the hill, with Huolai and Yang close behind. Soon, the 3 landed on the hilltop. Yang immediately noticed a small, inverted cone-shaped valley. Thick, humid, hot air rose from the valley like a mist, covering the hilltop. In the valley's center was a strange, oval spring. The spring water was unlike any other, displaying milky white and vermilion colors. Even more peculiar was that despite sharing the same spring, the 2 colors remained distinct. Never mixing, the dense steam rising upward was generated at the point where the 2 springs met, dissipating slowly at the mountain pass. What an incredible spring, Huolai, gazing at the bizarre ice and fire Yin-Yang well in the valley below, couldn't help but exclaim. He sensed that the milky white spring water was colder than 10,000-year mystic ice, while the vermilion water was hotter than the flames he, as an 8-ring fire soul Douluo, could produce. Either spring alone would be considered extraordinary, let alone seeing them coexist so perfectly. Could this odd ice and fire spring be some kind of miracle? Huolai couldn't help but wonder. His thought wasn't surprising, considering the extraordinary nature of the spring. It was definitely not a natural formation, and he had seen miracles before. In fact, Huolai's guess wasn't far off. The ice and fire Yin-Yang well could indeed be considered a miracle. Long ago, the Water Dragon King and Fire Dragon King, whose strength rivaled that of level 1 gods, perished in the Dragon God War. Their bodies fell into Sunset Forest, settling beneath the ice and fire Yin-Yang well. The power of a divine dragon is immense. Even in death, the potent water and fire energy emanating from their corpses, over countless years, gradually created the ice and fire Yin-Yang well, a treasure trove that nurtured countless exotic plants and herbs. So, what do you think? Is my medicine garden impressive? Dugu asked Huolai, a hint of pride in his voice. Truly spectacular. Huolai nodded in awe, looking at the numerous exotic plants growing around the ice and fire spring below. While not an expert in medicinal herbs, Huolai could tell from their unique appearance that they were anything but ordinary. Because of the ice and fire spring, my medicine garden is saturated with water and fire energy. Brother Hua, your strength is considerable, so you can ignore it, but this kid is only a 2nd-level soul master. You'll need to watch him closely when we go down there to make sure nothing goes wrong. Dugu, thinking about the pervasive water and fire energy in his medicine garden, cautioned Huolai. Of course, Huolai agreed. Even without Dugu's warning, he was already keenly aware of the extraordinary nature of the ice and fire Yin-Yang well. The pervasive water and fire energy alone would be too much for a low-level soul master to endure for long, if it weren't for Yang's oracle, which revealed the presence of immortal herbs perfectly suited for him, requiring immediate consumption after picking. Huolai wouldn't have considered taking Yang down there. Huolai picked up Yang and followed Dugu as they descended from the hilltop. Even dozens of meters away from the ice and fire spring, Yang could already feel the water and fire energy eroding him. The unique ice and fire Yin-Yang well, surrounded by exotic flowers and herbs, lacks ordinary herbs for a reason. The water and fire energy nourishes these unique plants, but for ordinary herbs, it's a herbicide, making survival impossible. The same principle applies to people. Getting close to the ice and fire spring means constantly withstanding the energy impact of 2 Extreme attributes. Without sufficient strength, prolonged exposure can lead to death from the overwhelming water and fire energy. However, for Mu Yang, whose physical fitness far exceeded that of soul masters at his level, this degree of energy erosion, while noticeable, was manageable for a short period.